Okay, g'day all, welcome back to the workbench. Just continuing on with the review of the Humbrol weathering powders and also building the Airfix female tank. Okay, clear out a bit. I have so far, painted up the kit. These were painted in a mix. This was painted in a mixture of Citadel paints, Commando Khaki, and the Kachachan green. Different mixtures to get the different colours there. As you can see, it's a very rough finish, which is what I was after. So that's all the way around. Okay, first off I started with using the enamel and the matte coat varnish. I applied the rust, which is this colour here, very thinly over the tracks here, and then started wiping it off to remove the excess orange, because it really did turn out very orange. That gave me this appearance here. Then I went to town on the underside here, so I could get an idea of how the build up the mud layer. So all I did here was brushed on a 50-50 mix of the matte coat, then used a stiff brush, and I recommend an old brush, not a good brush, or even go for try these out today, these stiff bristle brushes, because you're actually dabbing on chunks of the powder all over the place. Here's the mixture I did up to do the mud. So mainly dark earth with a bit of rust in there and a bit of black as well. Make sure to throw in a bit of pastel, brown pastel, just to break up the dark earth a bit. So as you can see there, I just built it up, and I put a couple of layers of the matte coat over top of it and just kept on dabbing it all on. And the same with the tracks. Okay, now hopefully I can show it under here. Here is where it's dried matte. This part over here, I've actually applied some clear gloss varnish over top of it to give it a more wet look. So you can see a bit here along the tracks here. It looks a bit wet. The idea to create mud. So we've got on the side here, this is just the weathering powders mixed in with the varnish and painted on. To create the streaking effects, I went very heavy, then came along with a thinner brush and just wiped it off. As you can see, the camo scheme is very obliterated, which is this finish I wanted to go for. These little black streaks that you can see down here is a mixture of black and the black and the dark earth to create an oil, with some gloss varnish over top to give it a wet look. I've got one up here I've got to fix up. This is dried for a couple of days, so technically you're not supposed to be able to reactivate it with the gloss varnish. Sorry, with the enamel finish. So I'll do now, while we're on camera, where's my palette? You really do need a palette for this. Okay, while I'm stuffing around here, here is my first attempt at doing the rusting look. This is the little chicken coop that's going to sit on top. So that was just the gunmetal painted on, then just went to town with the thinners again, and the browns and the reds, or the rust colours, to create this chicken coop. Right. Now, I must have an old bottle of matte varnish here, matte coat, sorry. It's actually sticking to the bottom. I only just got this recently and it's stuck to the bottom already, so I think it's an old bottle. It's been sitting on the shelf. down at the hobby shop. Okay, so put down some varnish. It's a bit too much there, but I'm just speeding through this now just to demonstrate. Okay, that was a bit of rust powder I've got left there that's activating here. With this stuff, I wouldn't worry about the base here being too straight up dirty. I treat it like you would with weathering. Just make it dirty, that way when you go to weather it up, you're not clean, it's already dirty type thing. Okay, while I'm doing this, I'm going to start talking here about this kit. The kit has a bit of a bald spot on top here on these turrets on the side. As you can see, there's no detail there, whereas opposed to the rest of the kit, there's detail left, right and centre. So what I'm going to be doing is coming back after I've done the weathering and putting some small trying to think of the right word here, small styrene to add some detail there, raised rivets and some not join lines, but metal brackets. Okay, so I'm just using my mixture here of the dirt, or the dirt colour that I'm wanting to go with, and while the matte coat is still wet, just dabbing it on. I'm taking colour from all over my little palette here and diving into my other palette as well. Just dabbing on. As you can see, this is why I'm saying you need an old brush or one of these El Cheapo stiff bristle brushes, because it is just going to gunk up. And I've got a funny feeling here. What I should have done here was did all the weathering in one sitting, because I'm getting different tonal effects, which is probably a good thing when you're doing weathering like this, especially in mud. But what I'm trying to depict here, the diorama is going to be a tank going through the mud, so the dirt should be all different. It should be all the same colour uniformly type thing. So as you can see, I'm just taking the thinned out enamel thinners and matte coat, dabbing it on, because I just want to add some more character to it. Alright. So there you go, just quickly built up. And what's this? That's about 5-6 minutes I've been talking and doing this. Now, if you want to build up the colour so that you have a built up mud effect down here, all you do is basically you make up a sludge, so a thicker version of the matte varnish. Actually, I did notice there's a problem under here before. I picked this up and looked around and saw like paint. Alright. So under here, that's turned into a sludge on me now, which is good. And all you want to do is make it a sludge so it's thick, then dab the paint on, or the mixture on. And just keep adding on powder, and after a while it will get thick. Well, it's a bit too much rust there. And the effect will just build up and build up. Just, if you like, use your paint as a little palette knife to heap it on. And after a while you'll get that crusted on mud look. Actually, I want some more thinners there. Okay, I'm going to go along here. I was going to weather this rear thing a bit more, but I think I'll just leave it. It's caked on mud. And just build up the layers. So you're not really painting on, you're dabbing it on. The powders themselves are varying grain, so you got fine and thick and chunky, if you like. Good thing about this stuff is applied wet. And you just keep on working, just keep on building this up, build up the effect the way you want it. I've seen some guys do the same effect, probably with the big MIG pigments, or go out and get spackle or something like that. You just keep on going. You go to the level of detail you want for whatever you're trying to model. Alright, that's just quick. As you can see, it's quickly done. Okay, that looks pretty uniform underneath the camera. Alright, so I'll just keep on going here, weather this thing up, and oh, actually that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'll show you the weathering that with dry powders themselves. Alright, so I might need another palette. None available. Okay, I'll just use a bit over here. Okay, so it's a bit more of a clearer mixture there. So if you just want to add dust to this, you can quite quickly and easily just load up a brush. Okay, this is going to come out very dusty. I did try earlier, a couple of days ago, put on a thin black wash, so that's why the top here looks a bit darker than the rest of the kit. Okay, so you can then use your actually I want a bit more dust in here. Oops, wrong paintbrush. There you go, mistake number one. Let's see how well I can recover from that mistake. Okay. Alright, so that's just gone on wrong. So all I'm doing now is I'm going to work this around. Using the enamels method. You can use water. I'll get to the water shortly after I fix up this mistake. Okay. I don't have anything. Okay. I'm just using an old sponge brush I have lying around. This is normally used for applying Tamiya weathering paint, so I'm just going to use it here to clean up. As you can see, you can clean up the enamel quite easily. Oh, the weathering powder is quite easy with mine's gone blank. With the thinners. Okay. Now, this is now just a brush by itself. All I'm doing is working around making it harder, or rubbing into the paintwork. So now I'll just use a bit of water, and I should be able to clean this up with water. Okay, let's try this again. A bit of water. Make sure it's nice and dried off. Still a bit too wet for water, but as you can see, I'm moving it around a bit, getting different effects. From my point of view, it looks easier to work with this thing with enamels than it is with anything else. So, yeah, I think I will clean up using the enamels, not enamels, the thinners. There you go. Reactivates better with the enamels, with the thinners. The other method that Humbrol uses for this is using Airfix. And considering the trouble I'm having with this now, I think I'll avoid Airfix. I was about to show it, but I think I'll avoid it now. Alright, let me play here and I'll get back to you.